Nitric oxide is essential for your health and overall well-being. That's why if a person is low on nitric oxide and suddenly gets more of it, they can feel the difference almost immediately. One study showed that most people in their 70s have lost 75% of their nitric oxide. No wonder so many people develop health symptoms and stop enjoying life. There's a simple way to get your body to produce more nitric oxide. At the age of 70, Mike seems almost superhuman. He tours as a drummer in 2 rock bands, and he plays marathon sets that last until the wee hours of the morning. And one of his bands was even featured in a recent 3-day festival under the very hot Nevada sun. Mike loves every minute of it. He tells people he's living his retirement dream, and his smile says it all. When you see him now, it's hard to believe Mike came so close to missing out on the dream he had worked so hard. For 37 years, Mike worked as an elementary school custodian. But he was a musician at heart, and he knew he wanted to get back to playing the drums as soon as he retired and he had more time. But when that time came, Mike was just too tired. He didn't have the energy he used to have, and to make matters worse, his fingers would get cold and numb. Sometimes they'd even fall asleep for no reason at all. That alone could have been the end of his dream. And Mike is not alone. I'll also tell you about Eddie. When Eddie was in his 60s, his health took a nosedive. It was so bad, he had to stop doing a lot of the things he loved most in life. But now, at 82, Eddie also feels superhuman. And he acts like it too. He plays 2 hours of tennis several times a week and competes in tournaments. He also swims regularly, he travels, and he and his wife still enjoy a great sex life. And then there's Dez. For 15 years, Dez couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without feeling pain in his knees. It got so bad that it even hurt walking on a flat surface. He tried taking joint care supplements, but they just didn't work. Dez's blood pressure was also higher than it used to be, and he felt like he was falling apart. And he was starting to worry about what his future would be like if things continued along this path. But once Dez heard about what I'm going to share with you today, he started to feel much better. In just a few weeks, his blood pressure came down and his knee pain vanished. Best of all, he didn't have to make any changes to his diet or exercise program. So how did Des, Eddie, and Mike go from feeling worn out and old to feeling superhuman? Well, all it took was one simple thing. They all improved their health by improving the function of their endothelium. You see, the endothelium is a layer of cells that line your blood vessels. It's in the major arteries, in your heart, in your lungs. It's even in the tiniest capillaries in your fingers and toes, your eyes, and every one of your organs. In fact, the endothelium is the largest organ in the body. If you could spread it out, the cells would cover almost 2 entire football fields. And we now know the endothelium is one of the most important organs concerning your health. People with a healthy endothelium feel good. They have few, if any, symptoms, and they stay active. When you see an older person who looks and acts younger than their age, they're sure to have a healthy endothelium. The reason why the endothelium is so vital is because it controls blood flow through your entire body. When you have good blood flow, fresh oxygen and nutrients are delivered to all your organs, tissues, and cells. This keeps everything working the way it should. But if you have poor blood flow, your cells will be slowly deprived of oxygen and vital nutrients. And for many people, the first sign of poor blood flow is that they start feeling fatigued, or they feel the need to grab a cup of coffee or something sugary to get through the afternoon. For other people, they notice they have a harder time sleeping, or have difficulty concentrating or remembering things. Or maybe, like Mike, their hands and their feet get cold more easily, or their fingers could even go numb. Other signs of a sluggish endothelium are declining vision, a lower sex drive, aches and pains in the knees or other joints, or an increase in blood pressure or cholesterol levels. This is when people often say they're starting to feel old. I know this because I hear it in my practice all the time. Hi, my name is Dr. Frank Schallenberger. I've been a practicing MD for over 45 years. I've published many scientific research papers and written the books bursting with energy, the type 2 diabetes breakthrough, and the principles and applications of ozone therapy. I've also invented several natural therapies, including bioenergy testing, prolozone, and keyzone. And I've trained over 5,000 doctors in the use of these therapies. My patients come to me because they don't like to just manage their health problems and symptoms. They want to get to the root cause of them. The fact is, most of the things we think are, quote, health problems are actually just symptoms, and they have an underlying cause. And whenever a patient tells me they have any of the symptoms I mentioned earlier, the underlying cause is often a sluggish endothelium. Today I'm going to tell you about a surprising discovery made by an MIT scientist and how it led to an extraordinary breakthrough that allows your body to restore your endothelium. This reverses many of the symptoms that can slowly deteriorate quality of life as you get older. It's how Mike and Eddie and Des reversed their symptoms and are now healthier and even more active than ever. In fact, what I'm going to tell you has already helped thousands of people, just like them, restore healthy blood pressure without doing anything that causes unpleasant side effects. Supercharge your energy, back to doing more of the things that you love. Play more tennis, spend more time in the garden, enjoy time with grandchildren, or you can even hit the dance floor and wake up feeling well rested. No more tossing or turning or waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to get back to sleep. Eliminate swelling in joints and enjoy the freedom to move without pain. Improve memory, remember people's names better, remember where you put your keys and what you wanted to get from the room you just walked into. Restore flexibility to arteries so the heart and circulatory system stay healthy. Improve lung function and reverse breathing difficulties with no more feeling winded or out of breath. Plan a second honeymoon, why not? With all the energy and everything back to working the way it should. But before I tell you about the discovery, there's something you need to know about the endothelium. For a long time, the medical community thought it was just a barrier that separates your blood from the tissue walls. But in 1980, a pharmacologist from New York named Robert Furchtgott discovered it does much more than that. Furchtgott discovered that the endothelium controls your blood vessels. It makes them relax and dilate when you need more blood flow. So when the endothelium doesn't work well, your blood flow is restricted. And since your blood delivers oxygen and vital nutrients to your cells, you can see how important the endothelium is in controlling your overall health. But there was something about the endothelium that puzzled Furchtgott. He couldn't explain why sometimes it would relax and allow more blood flow while at other times it didn't. While Furchtgott was doing his research, two other scientists were doing research of their own. They had discovered a mysterious molecule that seemed to appear out of nowhere and quickly spread throughout the body. Wherever it went, the molecule sent signals that affected the nearby cells. And when Furchtgott found out about their research, he wondered if there was a connection with the endothelial cells. Well, it turns out he was right. And when the three scientists combined their research, Furchtgott's mystery was solved. It turned out that the signaling molecule was a very fragile gas molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide sends messages to the endothelium that tell it to relax and allow more blood flow. The nitric oxide discovery was so revolutionary that in 1998 it earned all three scientists the Nobel Prize, and it set off a massive wave of research around the world. Nitric oxide is essential for your health and overall well-being. It's as important for your body as oil is for your car. As you know, if you stop getting the oil changed in a car, the engine will get gummed up. Eventually, it'll run out of oil, and without oil, it won't be long before your car suffers a critical engine failure. Well, it's the same with nitric oxide, but instead of it being an oil, it's a gas that keeps the endothelium healthy, so your body stays fueled with oxygen and nutrient-rich blood. And here's something else you need to know about nitric oxide. It's actually very fragile. It only lasts a few seconds before it disappears. So your body needs a constant new supply to keep you healthy and active. That's why if a person is low on nitric oxide and suddenly gets more of it, they can feel the difference almost immediately. Nitric oxide is nothing short of a health miracle maker. It's so important that your body has two ways to make it. The first way happens right in the endothelium. There's a process that converts an amino acid called L-arginine into nitric oxide. But if your endothelium starts to get sluggish, the L-arginine has a harder time converting into nitric oxide. In fact, once people get past their 20s, their nitric oxide levels often plummet. One study showed that most people in their 70s have lost 75% of their nitric oxide. No wonder so many people develop health symptoms and stop enjoying life. You don't need L-arginine to make nitric oxide because your body has a backup plan that gives you a steady stream of it. When your body has a harder time converting L-arginine to nitric oxide, it relies more on another way to make it. This one involves your diet. You see, there are some foods that contain a certain nutrient that your body uses to make nitric oxide. And what's so surprising is that it's a nutrient people used to think was bad. That nutrient is nitrate. That's right, nitrate. You may remember hearing that hot dogs are bad for you because they contain nitrates. And it's true that eating hot dogs may be bad for you, but it's not because of the nitrates. Turns out nitrates are a vital nutrient because your body needs them to make nitric oxide. So what healthier foods contain nitrates? Some of the best sources are beets, garlic, spinach, nuts and seeds, and dark chocolate. Now you may already be eating some of these foods, maybe even eat a lot of them. Even so, you may still be low on nitric oxide. Why? Because you need to eat a specific amount of nitrates to get the nitric oxide effect your body needs. That amount is 300 milligrams. And I wish I could tell you exactly how many cups that would be of each one of those nitrate-rich foods, but it's difficult to know because the amount of nitrates in food varies dramatically depending on where and how the plants were grown and how they were stored and how they were prepared. For example, the nitrate level of a beet grown in one type of soil can have 50 times more nitrate than a beet grown in another type of soil. But there's another even more surprising problem about a common habit that robs you of nitric oxide. And here's the discovery I wanted to tell you about. A scientist from MIT was researching how the body makes nitric oxide, and he found out something quite surprising. It turns out that your body needs a special type of bacteria to start converting the nitrate in the food you're eating into nitric oxide. And the bacteria live on your tongue. So the process needs to start in your mouth. Without those bacteria, you could be eating nitrate-rich foods by the truckload, and you'd never make the nitric oxide your body needs to stay healthy. And get this, it turns out that 2 out of 3 people don't have enough of that special bacteria. And it may surprise you to hear why. If you take good care of your teeth, there's a good chance you don't have much of that special bacteria left. That's right. Most mouthwashes and even fluoride toothpastes kill the bacteria your body needs to make nitric oxide. That's why a person can eat a healthy diet, exercise, and still not stop the decline in nitric oxide as they age. Luckily, you don't have to sacrifice healthy teeth and fresh breath to boost your nitric oxide because the tongue bacteria discovery gave scientists an idea. The scientists were doing research at the University of Texas Health Science Center, and they discovered there's a simple way to get your body to produce more nitric oxide. They discovered that with the right ingredients, your body can still produce nitric oxide, provided the ingredients mix with a certain amount of the tongue bacteria. And after a lot of trial and error, the scientists discovered the winning formula. But what makes this formula different is that it also helps your body re-energize the endothelium. That way your body will make nitric oxide all day, just like it did when you were in your 20s. The first step to energize your endothelium is to restore its function and get more blood flowing through your body. Also includes the 2 most powerful nitric oxide boosting ingredients you can find. The first one is beetroot powder. Beetroot powder is loaded with health benefits. It's a powerful antioxidant. It fights inflammation. It improves brain function. And it's an amazing source of nitrates. That makes it a nitric oxide producing powerhouse. In fact, a study showed drinking beetroot juice almost doubles your nitric oxide. In the study, researchers timed a group of people riding a stationary bicycle until they were too exhausted to continue. They also measured their nitric oxide levels, how much oxygen the participants had in their blood, and how much got into their muscles. Then they split them into two groups. One group got beetroot juice to drink every day for 6 days, and the other group got a sham drink that tasted like beetroot juice but didn't have any nitrates in it. At the end of the study, the people came back and were tested again, and the researchers were astonished by what they saw. The people drinking beetroot juice increased their nitric oxide by 96%. That's almost double. But not only that, instead of gasping for air, they needed less oxygen to pedal, and they could pedal longer too. But the people who got the fake drink didn't see any benefits whatsoever. Beetroot is one of the best nitric oxide boosters you can find. Special formula also contains an ingredient that gets around that L-arginine problem, and it helps your endothelium make more nitric oxide as well. As I mentioned earlier, taking L-arginine supplements doesn't do much to help your body make nitric oxide. And besides, there's something even better you can do. You can get your body to actually make more L-arginine. How? With something called L-citrulline. L-citrulline is an amino acid that your body uses to make L-arginine. And your digestive system doesn't break L-citrulline down. And L-citrulline gives you other benefits too. It improves concentration, increases blood flow, and reduces muscle fatigue. In fact, a study found L-citrulline can even give you more muscle power. In this study, the researchers split people into two groups. One group took L-citrulline capsules for 7 days. The other group took capsules filled with a cornstarch placebo. After a week, both groups met with the researchers for testing. First, the researchers tested their level of L-arginine, and they were amazed. In just 7 days, the people taking the L-citrulline had an astonishing 38% more L-arginine in their bodies. Then both groups were tested to see how fast they could ride 4 kilometers on a stationary bike. The L-citrulline group finished faster, but the researchers had to make sure it was because of the L-citrulline, so they did the study a second time. Only this time they switched the capsules, so the ones who got the L-citrulline the first time now got the placebo and vice versa. The results from the second test confirmed it. In each case, the L-citrulline group had more L-arginine and finished the bike race faster. And not only that, the people all said when they took the L-citrulline, their muscles didn't feel as tired, and they noticed they had more concentration. So L-citrulline helps your body both physically and mentally, and it keeps your level of L-arginine elevated so your endothelium can make more nitric oxide all day long without any side effect. The first is vitamin B12. Many people don't get enough B12, or they have trouble absorbing it. B12 is important because it protects your nerve endings in your brain. People who don't get enough of it often notice they have problems with their memory. Not only that, low B12 is shown to lower your nitric oxide levels too. This helps your body to make nitric oxide while also giving your memory a boost. And the second is vitamin C. Now you already know that vitamin C is great for supporting your immune system. Well, studies show it also helps your body to make nitric oxide, especially when you're over 60. Right around the age of 60, people's bodies start having a hard time clearing out toxins. And the toxic buildup is one of the things that wears out your endothelium. But vitamin C is shown to seek out and remove the toxins that weaken your endothelium. No way of denying it. You feel noticeably better when your cells are flushed with oxygen and nutrients. And it makes you healthier too. Nitric oxide can do more for your health and well-being than practically anything else I've ever seen. In fact, I'm shocked that the standard screening tests we get when we're older don't actually include a way to test for nitric oxide. Many people notice a difference in just minutes. Michael from New York said, quote, I can feel the effects. I have more energy and I feel very alert. And Robert from Texas said, I take it every day. You can begin to see results immediately. And Typhiro from Florida said, my energy is all the way up. I felt the difference 15 minutes after taking it. They can't say enough about how much better it makes them feel. And many people write to me to tell me about how it has changed their lives. Why not join them and have more energy than you felt in years? Balance your blood pressure, get a restful night's sleep every night, look and feel younger, sharpen your memory and focus, and get back to enjoying life. How long will it take for me to know it's working? Many people can feel an effect in just a few minutes. For others, it takes longer. And some people say they notice some changes in the first couple of days and then even more benefits after taking it for a week or two. So each person responds differently. If you don't notice an immediate difference, I recommend you keep taking it until you finish the box and then see how you feel.